think he can do it again tonight.
And we're about to find out as the ref has taken the center of the mat. This will be match number 1. Of course, you got to win 2 out of 3 to make the world team here. Winners here, if you win 2, you represent Team USA in Zagreb, Croatia in September. Handshake, and we are underway. Mitchell Mesenbrink in the red, David Carr in the blue, and there's that single leg right away attempt from Mitchell Mesenbrink.
And David bringing heavy hands of his own. You know, we talked about David keeping his hands at home, being disciplined. Notice when he's in the open how tight his elbows are into his body. He wants to make sure he doesn't reach, and it's proven effective so far.
Followed by Kansas State University's 22. Three-time high school
stutter fakes, some more motion here from Mitchell Mesenbrink, who lunges towards Carr. He's got that left hand set for time being, now dragging to the other way. Good down block there by David Carr.
3 times he's been at the top
Carr
of the podium.
will be warned for passivity first.
I thought he was going to be warned for those heavy gloves. He'd been throwing some haymakers early in the match. You know, I think one of the things about Mitchell that we don't talk about enough is how elusive his head is. Watch when David reaches or tries to throw a club. He can move and sway just like a boxer. It's really hard to land on his neck and for a collar tie.
David Carr out of Canton, Ohio. He's 26 years old.
And looking for that drag to the other side. He's not favored that single leg yet. A couple times he's looked for that drag to David's left leg. And there is the second warning of passivity against David Carr. He is going on the shot clock. How hard should he work to avoid giving up the point?
I think you want to be wise here. You know, it's so early in the match that 1 point won't kill you, but if you go out and exhaust yourself and get scored on, all of a sudden you're looking at a big deficit, because you don't only give up the takedown, but you also give up the additional penalty point.
10 seconds left in the shot clock, or Mitchell Mesenbrink will earn that point. He fires a single leg, nothing there though. Good snap and running to the other side now is David Carr trying to lift. He's got his head trying to come up, far ankle for Mitchell Mesenbrink. What's Carr need to do here?
And look, he pops out the back door. We always have a saying is high head wins, right? Coming out the back door, lifting the feet.
Now ankle to ankle, going to be tougher for either guy to score as that shot clock point goes up for Mesenbrink. 1-0 for Mitchell, but a good attack from David Carr.
Yeah, and he's proven that he can get to Mitchell's legs. I think the difficulty is just finishing. That's energy from the well that he didn't get rewarded for on the scoreboard. We'll see how it happens the rest of the match.
Standing in the middle of the match, there's another leg attack there from David Carr. Mesenbrink able to circle out of it. And now it's Mitchell that's going to get one for passivity. His first warning. They'll typically do this if there's no points going up on the board. And there's another single leg. This time pops his head to the outside, does Mesenbrink.
And this is what we talk about here, Christian, is a few times at the US Open, David got caught draping over top, right? And Mitchell in those moments was able to get big, switch off the double, and land 4-pointers where it would otherwise be 2. Great defense there from Carr.
Good shot from Mesenbrink, better defense from Carr as he fires another single leg, but this time very extended, hips on the mat, now trying to build up a little bit as Carr slips his head to the outside. Trying to counter here is Mesenbrink.
And look, this is a war of attrition right now. Both guys operating at a high level defensively. That looked like an exposure there.
And they end up going 2 from the judge and chair, so it will be 2 more for Mesenbrink on the exposure. Jordan, 3-0 lead for Mesenbrink as the first period comes to an end.
And Mitch is tricky with those leg curls, man. He's got that Winn-Dixie, that Jason Knopf-esque feel, where you get to his legs, he can whip you over if you get out of position. And all you have to do is touch one hand, break 90. He was able to get another 2 points. That's big going into the second period.
What's the message to David Carr going into the second period?
Well, I don't think he wrestled poorly. He got to the legs a few times. He just wasn't able to finish. And the one time he got exposed, I think he's going to have to continue to wrestle, circle hard, or get big once he actually gets up and into the shot. He can no longer stop on his knees.
Casey Cunningham, Jake Varner, Olympic champion in the corner for Mesenbrink. Brent Metcalf, Nate Carr Sr. in the corner for David. As the second period now underway. More fakes from Mitchell Mesenbrink, catching the hands. Fakes towards that left-handed single leg that Mesenbrink loves to fire.
And so he's got an unorthodox style. Look at his rhythm. He leads righty, and then look, he'll switch back to being lefty. So it's really hard to time and track his movements, as well as having quality head movement. Look, every time David goes for a head post, thumb block, or a collar tie, Mitch is able to slip it.
Mesenbrink continuing to crowd. He is holding center. Another attack there. Well defended so far from David Carr. He's got a head pinch, now comes out of it. And all square here in the middle of the match. Still a 3-0 lead for Mitchell Mesenbrink. 2 minutes to go.
And David's gonna have to pick up his pace here, right? He's not being the aggressor.
Re-attacks there, in on a single leg. Now standing with it is David Carr, trying to step behind the foot. He catches the foot. Can he get a leg lace?
He's got the leg lace. This is where he's been good. He was able to catch Mitch here in the final of the Open. As Nittany, the Olympic silver medalist at the match earlier this year. Great defense by Mitch Mesenbrink. Big time defense.
How much of that is technical and how much of that is grit, just fighting off a leg lace like that?
You know, I've been in a position a couple of times where I'm like, man, I'm going to break my leg today before I give up this leg lace, because you know, in a match like this where it's so tightly contested, every point matters. And you know, it's also taken energy from David to try to go ahead and finish with that parterre offense. I think Mitch Mesenbrink did a great job defensively, but if you're Carr, you've got to be feeling the momentum shifting a little bit at this moment. You're feeling good about where you are. 1 point match, you know, 1.5 to 2 minutes left in the matchup. I like where he's at right now.
And a reminder, no ties in freestyle wrestling. Someone is always leading. So if Carr was able to get 1 point and make it 3-3, he would have the lead via last score criteria. So the narrowest of leads here for Mitchell Mesenbrink.
You know what's going to be interesting here, Christian, is to see who comes out the most active after this break. You know, Mitch has got warned once. David's already been on the clock, and so whoever comes out and is the aggressor in this next 30 seconds or so will likely get put on a shot clock, and that could be a big point in the remainder of this match.
No question about it, as they tend to Mesenbrink, as he's bleeding on his face somewhere. And what was interesting, that Carr takedown, a re-attack, not something David Carr's necessarily known for. It's the initial shot from Mesenbrink, and it's Carr getting in on single leg. How's he able to finish this so well?
Well, does a good job bringing his inside leg up. Notice, nice tight grip, locked well, rebuild, stands up to his feet, and then just runs the hips down.
There you see the grit from Mesenbrink to not give up that leg lace. As we can see, they're tending to that forehead of Mitchell, getting another layer of wrap there. So 1:39 to go here in the second period. Pawn at the head, and their stutter fake. David Carr in again, looks head outside, well defended again by Mitchell Mesenbrink. More fakes from Mitchell Mesenbrink as he goes left then right, not there. Carr staying at home pretty well, not overreacting to the fakes from Mitchell.
Well, interesting strategy here if you're Mitchell. We typically see him with his foot always on the gas. He's not a guy that typically is going to try to manage a lead. He's always trying to put points on the board. You see him, he's giving up a little bit of ground here, circling on the outside of the circle. Another single leg, he gets to it.
Nothing yet.
Now he's got to be careful here. Notice he gets this one up off the mat.
Carr in great position to finish here, trying to win moment. That's 2 more. Carr into the lead, 4-3. Looking for the lace.
And looking for the leg lace here. And wisdom would show you, Christian, even if you can't get a score, you have to make it, in the eyes of the referee, look like you're trying to score. I think the more action you have from top, the more time you spend on the mat. 30 seconds, let's see what David's lead management looks like.
1 point lead, but Mitchell Mesenbrink is going to have to get to 5 points because Carr has 2 twos. Left then right, chasing that leg, hustling hard is Mitchell Mesenbrink. Good head position here for David Carr. He can defend, holding that armpit with his left hand. 17 seconds to go. Mesenbrink nearly in, defended by Carr in the zone.
And Mesenbrink relentless with his pressure here. And David doing a good job with his head and hands. He's got to stay down. Wise, that's a grounded call there.
And grounded offered, and that is indeed the call, Jordan. It's going to remain 4-3, 4 seconds to go. Carr's got to hang on.
Mesenbrink needs a rolling start here. He's going to have to shoot right away. And David, again, with the head and hands defense. Beautiful match.
We start the day with an upset, Jordan. David Carr, a 4-3 winner over Mitchell Mesenbrink.
And Mesenbrink is laboring a little more than we've seen him do in the past. Look at his mouth's open. He's breathing a little bit harder. Maybe the weight cut got to him. Otherwise, it was a beautifully strategic